Split is a horror/thriller film directed by Night Shyamalan, and it features Anya Taylor-Joy, which most of you should know from The Witch, and if you don't, then shame on you, you stupid pleb. And she plays one of the main girls who gets kidnapped, who has to try and figure out how to escape her confinement from James McAvoy's character, who suffers from dissociative identity disorder, which results in him having 23 different personalities. Now, I used to really love Night Shyamalan. He made arguably the most iconic horror thriller in the modern film era called The Sixth Sense. Then he made an incredible, realistic, dramatic superhero story called Unbreakable, which is honestly probably my top 10 favorite films of all time. Then he made Signs, which a lot of people think is where Shyamalan fell off the wagon, but I highly disagree with that. I think Signs is a chilling alien invasion thriller accompanied by a haunting score and top-tier performances. Of course, it has its flaws, but overall, I think it's a great film. Then he came out with The Village. I actually think The Village is a good film, but this is, to me, definitely where Shyamalan started to lose some of his magic. And then came Lady in the Water, and I can't even attempt to apologize for this fantastical mess of a movie. And then he came out with Holy Hell! And then came After Earth, another terrible film starring Will Smith playing Will Smith and his son Jaden Smith playing Jaden Smith. I never saw The Visit, even though most people were saying it was decent, just because I simply wasn't interested or compelled to see it. But after watching Split, I definitely want to see what he did with The Visit, because Split blew me away. My expectations for Split were fairly high, but not so high. And this film surprisingly really got to me, and I loved it way more than I thought that I would. Now, it's not a perfect film, it has its issues, and we will get into some of that later, but Shyamalan directed the shit out of this film. The camera work is authentic, the score and sound editing is smooth like butter, and the performances from the main characters are top-notch, most especially James McAvoy, but I'm sure you all could have guessed that. But this guy McAvoy is a truly phenomenal actor. I've never really seen him in this light, and I've never seen him put on such a convincingly haunting performance of this magnitude. It's a shame that this film didn't qualify for this year's Oscars, because if it did, I guarantee you that McAvoy would have single-handedly took home the Academy Award for Best Actor. It'd be astonishing to see him get nominated for next year's Oscars, because I've never seen an actor get nominated for a leading role for a film that came out in January. Anya Taylor-Joy also did a fantastic job playing one of the girls who was kidnapped. Her character seems to be smarter and more calm when it comes to these intense life-or-death situations, while the other two girls seem to always be in panic mode. And you're not quite sure why that is at first until the film starts to reveal certain things about her character as it rolls along. And then things start coming together and start making a lot more sense. Which brings me to something else I really loved about this film. This film is deep. This film has heart. It has such a beautifully written character theme that is consistent and important throughout the film, and especially in the film's conclusion. I thought the theme of the film was handled extremely well, and it was incorporated perfectly in the film's story and characters without coming off as forced in any way. Now, for some issues that I have with the film, I'll start with the one that I think isn't really a big deal. I thought that the performances given from the other two girls that were kidnapped were subpar. It wasn't enough to take me out of the film, but it was definitely noticeable, and it could have been a lot better. Their delivery of dialogue and reactions to certain things that were happening just wasn't very convincing. It seemed that they were either doing too much or too little, and it just didn't feel natural. Now, I know some people would say, well, they're just two very young and unknown actresses, so of course they're not going to give you an Oscar-worthy performance, meh. Yeah, I know that, but criticism is still constructive and necessary if they want to improve and grow their acting abilities, so I have no regrets. And the other issue that I had with the film, which I feel like is a much bigger issue, is the excessive expository dialogue that happens during brief moments in the film. I get that some of it is necessary so that the audience can understand certain aspects of the story and characters, but there were just a few times where it just felt a little lazy and gratuitous. Like there was this one scene in the film where literally one of the characters is directly looking straight at the camera and she's spouting out all this explanatory dialogue straight into the audience as if we're incapable of understanding this visually. If something can be conveyed through imagery, just do it that way. Showing the audience something is much more artistically effective than just telling the audience something. And it treats me as an audience member with much more respect. But it doesn't happen very often, and it's just a few brief moments, but it still managed to bug me a little bit. But regardless, it's a great film that has minor issues and major accomplishments, and it's the best Shyamalan film that I've seen since Signs, so I'm going to give Split an A. There's also a turning point in the film where something is revealed about a certain character, and at first I thought I was not going to like the film all that much anymore. But then something else happens at the very end of the film, and I was just blown away and astonished at how it all makes sense now. And I'm about to talk about it because I just can't help myself. I have to talk about it because it's just so great and exciting. So if you haven't seen the film and you don't want this spoiled for you, then just tune out or go take that shit you've been holding in for this entire review. So here's a fair 5-second spoiler warning before I start getting into it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm ready. So there's a point in the film where James McAvoy's character reveals a 24th personality called the Beast. And he has unfathomable strength and has the ability to climb on walls and ceilings, and he can run incredibly fast and all kinds of beast-like abilities. So when this was revealed to me, at first, I didn't really know what to feel. I thought that the supernatural element was a little out of place and forced, but I just kind of rolled with it and I was enjoying it for what it was. But then as things begin to wrap up in the third act, a very familiar score that I've heard in one of his previous films starts up. And I'm thinking to myself, no way. And then the final scene of the film reveals that Split takes place in the same universe as Unbreakable. That's what I feel like Shyamalan was doing. Just like, there you go. There's you something to chew on, you little bitch. It's just one of those moments where everything just makes sense and you just want to jump out of your seat with joy and yell, no fucking way. So that reveal just escalated the film to a higher level, and now I'm hearing that Shyamalan is planning to make a sequel to Unbreakable, and I'm extremely pumped and excited about it. Now with the supervillain from Split in the mix, it could set up for a great film. So don't mess it up, Shalama Mama. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up. Well, that's what I gotta say about Split. Thanks for watching this video and being interested in what I had to say about it. Have you seen Split? If you have, comment below and tell me what you thought about it. And if you like this video, please hit that like button and share this video with other film lovers. Hell, if you didn't like this video, go ahead and click that dislike button and comment below what you didn't like about it so I know what my audience wants. But if you did like it, go ahead and subscribe to the MIsfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film and video game related content.